several times that I'm an odd sort of human being. Part of the way that I'm an odd individual is that I don't feel the need mostly to be affiliated or associated with various groups. I want to talk a little bit today about that idea of not having that need. That is the idea of individuality, which is the subject for today's Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. Today is Sunday, the 16th of May of 2021. Thank you for everyone who's coming on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube, wherever you happen to be coming from. Thank you for joining me today. Again, the subject of today's little video is going to be individuality. And I'm going to go ahead and read my notes like I often do. So let me go ahead and get myself set up to do that. I'm not saying you should be a part of no group at all. I am saying you should think for yourself. I'm also saying that you should never assume any group will stay good. That's why I don't do things like lifetime memberships. Here's the thing. Here's the reality. There are groups out there. There are plenty of groups, and many of them probably have ideas behind them and things that they talk about and things that they say that you think you might want to have something to do with. Okay, got that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't associate or affiliate yourself with some group or other. That said, you should be very careful to make it very plain that your ideas are your own and to not just accept carte blanche the ideas that are presented by the group. By the way, in case you hear my son, he may be making noise today. He's up and about. He's doing his thing, so he may be making noise today. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to keep on talking regardless. It should just be a little bit of background chatter that you might hear. He's talking to the TV, which is what he does a lot of times when he's up and about on days that I'm doing my video. But look, it's pretty simple. You should have a set of ideas, a set of beliefs, a set of underlying tenets by which you live. And when somebody says something as a group, and you look at what that group is saying, and you go, no, if it's a base tenet for that group that you're looking at, I have news for you, you probably ought to dump the group. You probably ought to get rid of that organization, that whatever they happen to be, right? Affiliation, whatever it is, you should probably get rid of them. Why won't I support Black Lives Matter? It's not because I don't think Black Lives Matter. It's because Black Lives Matter has two primary out of three members at very least that couch themselves as trained Marxists, whether or not they are. And I don't agree with Marxism. Black Lives Matter, yeah, I agree with that as an idea. But if you talk about the organization Black Lives Matter, I don't agree with them because I'm not a Marxist. It has nothing to do with whether or not they claim to stand up for Black lives. And I'll leave it to other people to tell you whether or not that's true. In my personal opinion, it doesn't look like it. But I haven't looked far enough to really know for sure. Because as soon as I found out that Ms. Colors, I don't know how you say it, among others, claims to be a trained Marxist agitator, basically, I went, nope, enough of that, we're done. I don't need to know anything more about that group. I know that I don't want to be a part of a group that has that as in the leadership of the group. I'm just not part of that. I'm just not willing to be part of that. Okay, it's true, I'm not black. That's true too. But the thing is, in my mind, Black Lives Matter, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I don't care who says what about it, all lives matter. I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're Native American, I don't care if you're Asian, I don't care if you're African, I don't care where you're from. Okay? European, Australian, Antarctican, I don't care where you come from. You're human, your life matters. It's that simple. Here's what I'm trying to get at. Looking at things from an individual perspective, I can't even support Black Lives Matter because of what they hold as base tenets and what I do. And so I don't. I just don't. Look, the Republican Party, do I totally support the Republican Party? No. No, I do not totally support the Republican Party. If there's a Libertarian Party, do I totally support them? No. Because there are things that they say and things that they do with which I cannot agree. National Rifle Association, do I agree with everything they say? Excuse me. I don't know why associate popped into my head there. Do I agree with everything they say? No. Am I a member of NRA? No. And you can say this for just about any group that you can name, right? Democrat Party. No, absolutely not, because there are a whole bunch of things that they tend to hold in at least their fringes, and actually in some of their more baseline ideas that I don't agree with. I just don't agree with them. Communist Party, no, that I don't agree with most everything they say. Socialism, the same thing. If there are socialists in America, I don't agree with them either. But my point is, look, you're not in what many people on the right would consider bad company, because I don't support the Republican Party either. Okay? I don't support the libertarians per se either. I support ideas of republicanism. I support ideals of libertarianism. I do not support communism, capitalism. I do not tend to support what currently stands as Democratic Party ideals. That has changed substantially in a very short period of time, 50 to 70 years. It's changed substantially to where you wouldn't even recognize, John F. Kennedy wouldn't recognize his party. He wouldn't recognize his party. He would look at it and go, what the heck happened here? Whoa, this is a train wreck. And he'd be right. But the point I'm making is this. The simple reality is this. Look, I say in my notes, you should think for yourself. You should never assume any group will stay good. I say this in my notes. They may start that way. They may start wonderfully. Oh, great, Tea Party. Look at what happened to the Tea Party. What happened to them? They're nothing like what they were when most people started supporting them. And as a result, as I say, I don't support things like lifetime memberships to things. There's basically nothing that I have a lifetime membership to except Christianity, and that's not a membership like you would understand it or expect it. Right? It's not the same thing. That doesn't mean that you can't be part of a group. But I will say that as a rule, if you choose to be part of a given group, as in have a membership in that group, when the nasty stuff comes out about that particular group, if it's true, now I grant you that there are all kinds of people out there that are going to tell stories about groups because they can, and therefore they will. But if it's true, when the nasty stuff comes out about a given group and you're a part of that group, guess what? You're swept up in that whole thing. You're a part of that. Now, again, you can say, I'm a part of this group, I'm a part of this group. Oh, we found out about this, I'm not a part of this group anymore. Right? I wouldn't claim to be a Boy Scout because of what's happening to the Boy Scouts today, where they're going, what they're supposed to be and what they are. Boy Scout. That would mean boy. Okay, that's what that would mean. Girls in the Boy Scouts, for example, I don't care if they claim to be transgender. That would be a no. At least with transgender, you could make sort of an argument for it. But girls in the Boy Scouts, no. Just like I wouldn't want boys in the Girl Scouts. I don't think that's a reasonable thing. You want a group that is boy and Girl Scouts? Fine, great. Go ahead and do that. But don't call it Boy Scouts. Okay? And this is one of those things, this is one of those reasons that I don't look at a group like that and go, boy, I'd really like to be a member or have my family member be a member of that. I'm not going to be a member of most groups because unless their charter is basically set in stone and people don't act outside of the charter when acting for the group, there's always going to be a possibility of the group changes. And look, periodically, there are going to be changes to the bylaws, to the underlying tenets of just about every group. All right. So as far as it goes, I'm going to say this again. I'm not saying you should not be a part of any group. I am saying you should think for yourself. I'm also saying you should never assume any group will stay good, will ever stay good. That's how I put it in my notes, ever, and that's reasonable. And finally, that's why I don't do things like lifetime memberships. People say, oh, you should be a lifetime member of this or that. There's no telling what they're going to be tomorrow. If I'm a lifetime member of that, I'd still want to cancel my membership if they decided that they were going to do things that I wasn't for. So individuality is the thing, in my opinion. Joining groups can be okay, but don't let yourself get caught up in it, and realize that there are going to be times when a given group is going to change how it works, how it does business, and you're going to decide that you really don't want to be a part of that anymore, and then it's time to step off and do other things. This has been the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host, I'm Kurt. Today is Sunday the 16th of May of 2021. That means tomorrow will be Monday the 17th of May of 2021. The subject for today has been individuality, and tomorrow we're going to talk about critical thinking. A pretty important subject, really, something that a lot of people don't think all that much about, and that is actually pretty important, and I'm going to make sure that I try and do a good job of covering that. Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow, and hopefully things are going well for you. We're coming up on that start of the work week. It is the start of the week according to Christianity. Hope you're enjoying the weather as it's going. I'm not sure it's as nice everywhere as it is in my little part of the world, but it's a pretty nice day today. It's again, thank you for everybody who's working on the weekend, and for all the rest of you, get ready. That week is coming. You better gear yourself up. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing well in general, and hopefully we will see you again on tomorrow's Daily Summation. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video is recorded on Sunday, May 16th of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.